Hey everybody, my name is Holly Lamb and happy birthday America. Today is July 3rd, 2025 and tomorrow we celebrate our 249th birthday here in the great United States of America. And we've been putting out, with help with my daughter Hope there and my sons, and my husband, we've been putting out lots of decorations for the 4th. And of course, always ready and at my feet is my little sidekick. This is Miss Dolly Parton. And she is my little sidekick and my sweetie. Are you ready to get crafting, baby? Let's do it. We're going to start off with a real easy DIY with just a piece of scrap wood that Kevin's been doing some construction in the backyard. I'll show you a little bit more of that in a minute. But I've been grabbing in little pieces and bits. So I'm going to redo this scrap wood, which is a little bit bowed, but it sets up on the table really nicely. I'm going to take this Redesign with Prima stamp, and then I'm going to use my Iron Orchid Design thin mount to line up this grain sack stripe. This little stamp set, I ordered it from Etsy, and I saw another creator using it, and so I looked it up on Etsy, and you know, at $16.50 or whatever it was, I think this grain sack I'll get a lot of use out of. There's actually 2 different designs, and then of course some numbers. This is the Ranger ink from, and I got that at Michael's once. I believe Hobby Lobby carries it as well. But I lined it up on the thin mount so that I can make sure the grain sack is going to, be correct on both sides. And just always try to remember, oh, and look at how, I love how that's part of the stamp, that kind of distressing, which is pretty cool. And just remember, when I put down my stamp, I always keep one hand still and then make sure to touch every part of the stamp by the hand that's moving. And so you just make sure that everything's been touched, and then that natural distressing in the stamp, yeah, perfect. And so then you just clean off your stamps just immediately. I ordered this set from Amazon, and I'm going to be using only the Acryology acrylics from the Dollar Tree today. I've got a list of the blues and the reds and the white, of course white there. I'm also going to be using the black, that's just black, and then I use a little bit of gold. I believe that's Craft Mate, or maybe it's, anyway, it's a gold paint. In this video, and so I'm just covering up a star that I don't want to have, and then I'm just securing my stencil down there. This is a great little stencil set. It's supposed to be for rounds, 12-inch rounds, but it worked out well for this one as well. And I'm just going to kind of play around with the red and the blue. I'm not doing really any rhyme or reason here. Now I just have taken off the red, and now I'm coming back with the blue, and this one just says hello, and it was just a simple stamps and stencils, make for an inexpensive return on your money because all that is reusable. And these have some stars in it, which make it a little, make it patriotic, but honestly, you can leave Americana decor up all summer, all the way through Labor Day, and on into Veterans Day, honestly, in November. So all this can come back out. Now those stars are outlined, but I think I did go ahead and color them in. I'm fixing the bridges, the little gaps. I don't like the bridges and stencils, so I immediately go into, with a very fine tip, a flat paintbrush. I try to just dab, 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 just like I stencil. I'm not a swirler, I'm a pouncer. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just pouncing out those bridges. And so we'll get rid of all those, and then I'm going to color in those stars to kind of bring them out a little bit, and this thing's almost done. Okay, so I'm going to use my favorite ink from Ranger. This is the Potting Soil color. It's kind of a golden brown, and I'm going to use that for my distressing. I'm not going to even worry about, painting it dark before I put on the white paint. This gets the job done just super easy and quick. And I'll take it outside, spray it with a little Rust-Oleum matte clear, and this is done. A quick flip for a just piece of scrap wood. There it is, just kind of sitting up since it's already a little bit bowed. It didn't bother me at all. I thought it was perfect. Says hello to anyone coming into the dining room, which is what I'm decorating in this video. All right, now we find ourselves in roses. My husband and I went to Roses today. And this was back in Valentine's Day. They had this large wreath for $3. And then I'm going to make it into a, I Love America wreath for the front door. This fabric is pretty cool. It's like a homespun because both sides are printed. Or, it's woven, I guess. That's what a homespun is. It's a woven fabric. So you have the same design on both sides. There's not like a printed side and then a faded side. So this was a great choice for my wreath here. I'm going to try to cover up all of that red tinsel. I could take the tinsel off, but honestly, I don't like to see the ribs of a wreath form. And so keeping this tinsel on and just covering it up will kind of act as padding so that I don't have to see that. Now I'm going to redo this because I don't like the way that did. I'm doing that lark's head knot, and there we go. I wanted it on top. There we go. And we're going to pull through, and then I'm just fixing and fiddling. I'm going to do the same knot each time and line them up kind of close, and then I'm going to tie the two together. So the inner ties of each of those two got tied together. And then the inner ties of those two just got tied together. And I'm going to do 4 rows of that to kind of make a little bit of a pattern. You'll be able to see it at the reveal at the end. But that just kind of pulled it all together so those the tinsel, if it popped through, I could just give it a quick little snip and it wouldn't be much. And I'm only going to do about 2/3 of this wreath with the fabric. And then I'm going to use some of that. There I am tying them together. And then I'm going to be putting some of those beautiful flowers from the Dollar Tree, the Patriotic flowers, which were more of a navy blue. Of course, this pattern has both navy and royal blue in it, which is great for the 4th of July. But you'll see the navy. You've seen them. I'm sure you have. Here we go. And so lots of pretty stars and stripes. But the navy star flowers are a little less royal and a little more navy, so I thought they'd be really nice. There they are. Yeah, and they had kind of a daisy pattern, a carnation pattern, and I guess more of like a poppy pattern. And I'm going to mix them all in here together. I'm also going to be using some solid red, white, and blue. Yep, we'll save those for another thing. And some navy. There we go. All those are from the Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to use some craft buttons from Michael's that I got in the clearance section to go in some of the centers, just for a little sparkle, because we need some sparkle for the fireworks. Dolly doesn't seem to be afraid of loud noises. My last rescue dog, Toby, that I just was adored, he passed away last summer. He was terrified of thunderstorms and loud noises and fireworks, so I never could leave him on the 4th of July to go watch fireworks. I always felt super guilty because I knew he would just be terrified, and he just shook. He couldn't even help it. But Dolly is very nonplussed about any kind of thunderstorms. That doesn't bother her too. So we'll see tomorrow. We got a lot of people who shoot off fireworks around here. We'll see how it affects her. So I think she'll be just fine. She's a pretty tough little gal. So I'm just, randomly putting these together here at the top. I'm trying to keep the integrity of the shape of the heart so that you can see that little, where it goes down. I don't want to fill that in. I want to still be able to see that it's a heart from the street and not just a mess of flowers and fabric. Lots of hot glue for this project up here at the top. No hot glue required down below. All right, and so here I go into my knots. I go all the way down and I do 4 rows of this. So I'm just take that one and tie it to the next one and so on and so forth for a little pattern. Now, I decided to do a reverse dovetail. So the point is going out. There we go. So I'm cutting kind of forward so the points are coming out. I thought that might look interesting. And so I do that on every one, give it its little haircut. And we'll go all the way around. And I just love how this fabric looks. It's just got that little bit of floral, to go with the top of the wreath. There we go. And I'll save some of those extras because we're going to have to cover up a little bit on the back because our front door has windows. Boy, I left a lot of this in. You know how to cut dovetails. But this wreath is really holding up very pretty. There we go. It's just getting a little haircut. So I'll flip it over and I'm going to put these pieces on the back because I don't want that, again, I don't want the tinsel to show. I mean, I'm not against a tinsel wreath, like at Christmas time or whatever. Especially at school. I love a little tinsel. Tinsel, glitter, bring it on. I just have to apologize to the custodians and try to, bring them baked goods because I have glitter in my carpet. But they seem to know that I just, I live with glitter. It is what it is. There we go. There's no glitter in this one, though. The magic is coming. I'm going to bring out the white wax in just a few minutes. No white wax yet, but in the next project, we're going to get out the white wax. There we go. And you can still see it's a heart. I've tied just a nice sheer ribbon that I've hooked onto the back of the door. It goes up over the top. I need just a skinny sheen ribbon. And I've got a clear hook. I'll show you the back of it as well. A clear hook upside down at the top of the door. There we go. Nice and neat and looking very pretty from the inside as well. And then I tied it in a bow, or I tied a knot under the hook and then the bow's on top. So you can't see the hook. Okay, so we're off to the Dollar Tree here on St. Simon's and we're gonna grab a mason jar. Love these mason jars. It's the 4th of July, so we need a little mason jar. And we're gonna get out our Bunker Hill Blue from Dixie Belle. I got this jar of, and also we're gonna use one of those new little toppers. And we're gonna put some flowers in it, which are also gonna get white waxed because that's the magic. But this Dixie Belle paint I've got at our Habitat for Humanity Restore a long time ago, and it's still going strong, but it's a great patriotic blue. It's got a little bit of a cobalt, but it's really a navy. And I'm just going to bring out some of the details and sand down the Bunker Hill Blue. And this shows up better if you have a lighter color. This dark color is not going to show up as well, but again, the white wax is the magic here. Just details. All right, so we'll put our little frog. It's kind of like a frog, where we're going to do a little bit of organizing and arranging. Okay, so there's the magic. This is my Annie Sloan white wax. I get this, my friend Deb down at Cottle and Gun, she sells this, the Annie Sloan products. And of course, she's got all the milk paints and all of her other chalk paints. And so the full line's down there. And I just put it in an order. She's doing Christmas in July, and she had a lot of her Christmas IOD clearanced. And so I put a big order in. So I might have to do some Christmas in July stuff. Sounds like fun. But so pretty how that makes that Bunker Hill Blue look. Now, these are great. Nothing wrong with these flowers. But I like to give those, green leaves just a little too dark. I want it to have more of that softer kind of, oxidized look to it. And so I'm going to just brush it with my wax brush there. I use those chippy brushes from the Dollar Tree, and then I just throw them away because it's hard to get this wax out of my good brushes. So I just throw those away. And look how pretty that looks. I love how that looks. And then I'm going to take these pretty red ones, also from the Dollar Tree. Of course, I got all these before the price hike, so they were all $125. Tear. Sniff, sniff. So much for that. The Crafter Square is looking a lot more expensive these days. So pretty. Just a little bit of white wax. I love it. All right, so we'll put our pretty greenery and flowers in our big jar. And then I've just got some various, I think I got these from a big clearance bin over at Michael's. They were like buy two, get 3 free, you know, they run those sales. So I got a bunch of those. And then here, this is from the Dollar General. Dollar General still has a lot of dollar items, speaking of the price hike at Dollar Tree. These are so cute. Now that hello is just a little bit short, so I put it on a Chinese chopstick. And then that little cutie, those are from the Dollar Tree. Hey, honey. And so that little mason jar is looking mighty cute, saying hello to everybody. We've got 2 hello DIYs right in a row. We want to welcome everybody over to the house. Yeah, and there's those little ribbons that I just tied in shoelace bows, kind of haphazardly. I think it looks pretty. Okay, now I told you that Kevin, my husband's been working on, that's Chandler helping out, working on the back deck. He wanted to put up a new awning. And before we just had those kind of awnings you buy from Big Lots or, you know, from Lowe's. And so he ordered this from Amazon. It came in 1,000,000 pieces, bless his heart. And he put it together. Well, when he put it together originally, it was very hot. And it was like sitting under an oven. So he had to insulate it and then put some more a covering underneath, and so it's been quite an ordeal, but we're so happy with it. And I'll give you a little reveal in a minute. But he decided to paint this from that kind of sagey green to more of a color of the house. So the house is blue. I mean, it is blue, but to match the house, this paint was almost a gray. It's really more of a gray than a blue. And so I can't pass up a paint can flip. I have to. I can't just let that be thrown away. So I'm going to go ahead and paint it with, I had some of the paint left after doing some detailing on that big cabinet out in the back. We did lose the top level for decorating, but that's okay. I still have 3 shelves, so I've got plenty to decorate with. So I'm going to decoupage this paint can. Last time I redid a paint can, I did molds all over it. I did a sunflower paint can. So this time I'm going to decoupage, and I got these napkins back when, again, another sad thing, Tuesday morning. And so Tuesday morning is no more. But I looked at the pattern, and it's half and half. So I had to cut it apart, which was perfect for this DIY because I just needed 1 napkin for the whole paint can. And so after a couple of coats of that paint, that Simigloss we put on that cabinet outside, I'm just going to use my favorite Mod Podge. This is just matte Mod Podge. It's the cheapest Mod Podge, so it's perfect for decoupage. I'm just going to give it a nice light coat and then lightly set it down as flat as I can get it. There we go. And with my clean, dry hands, I'm just going to tap, tap, tap. I'm going to get bubbles and wrinkles, and that is A-okay with me because I'm going to coat it with several coats of super matte Mod Podge, and that will self-level and make it nice and smooth. So there, I was just taking off that straight edge. I don't want the straight edge. It'll be easier to hide those flowers if I don't have the straight edge. So we're just going to dab, dab, dab. Add some more Mod Podge and keep going. We'll go all the way around. I'm not adding any more Mod Podge on the top as of yet. I'm going to let all that dry. Well, there we go, nice and thin. A little section, and then I guess I do this in 4 sections. Looks like that's the second one, goes halfway. And then clean, dry hands, and then I'm not adding any more Mod Podge. I'm just dab, dab, dabbing. All right. And then when I got back around to the other side, I decided to just add a few of these little bits and bobs. There's a big flower, and then I've got a bird there, a couple of bumblebees. There's a little bumblebee there. This was a sweet little napkin. And then, of course, this paint can, because it's blue and white, and my dining room dishes are blue and white English ironstone, I'll be able to keep this paint can out because it's not necessarily patriotic. It just goes. Okay, now we are in Hobby Lobby, and their cake decorating stuff is always half off. Did y'all ever realize that? I guess it was like last year when I finally realized that. I was like, okay. So these molds are a fantastic price, always, always, always. And this is a foam clay from the Dollar General. And I'm going to condition it. It's very much like Model Magic, very, very much like Model Magic. And I have, after using Model Magic for a long time now, I have realized that the more you condition it, this is about 10-15 minutes later, the less I have to freeze it to get it out. It's a lot easier to work with if I'll just, play with it for a while and really condition it and yank and pull and yank and pull. So there we go. I'm going to do just that little half bead. This is the pie crust mold. It's got 3 different ones, and we're going to use the other 2. One is a rope, and then the middle one is kind of like a bunting, and then we're going to use just this little half bead. See, that is just straight. I'm tearing it a little bit, but I did not freeze that, so I don't have to wait for it to cool, warm back up, and I lose some, condensation. I don't have to worry about that because I pulled it right out of the mold. And that's only because I spent the time to kind of play with it. And Titebond is my molding glue of choice. Does a great job. Okay, so here comes the magic again. We've done flowers. We've done a jar. Now we're going to fill in every little bit of the lip of this paint can. And just gently... This, of course, I've let the glue set up. This is later, much later. And I've let the mold set up as well, because I certainly don't want to beat these molds up. I want to wait till they dry a little bit. And there we go. I fill it in completely, so there's no holes or cracks or crevices. You can see, and I'm just going to keep going. I've got my big waxing brush, and then I've gotten out a little kind of a junky brush so I can really fill it in those cracks and crevices. Okay, at the Dollar Tree you can always find breast cancer awareness ribbons, and which is great. Here I am in a pink dress, but I'm going to be painting this little pink breast cancer awareness ribbon. I'm going to be painting it blue because my cancer color is blue. And so I can remember in November of 2019, when I was first diagnosed with colon cancer, I can remember looking it up on Google, the colon cancer color, and this is the color. And so if I ever send you a text or an email and I have a blue heart in there, that is that's my cancer color. And blue is very special to us. My husband's car is blue, and we're just kind of a bright blue because we have beaten cancer 4 times, and we're working on number 5 now. I got a new cancer diagnosis last week, but hope is there. Hope is with us. Not just my daughter Hope, but I have hope in the Lord that we're going to beat this one as well. So I just made myself a little tag there to go with my gorgeous paint can. Look how gorgeous that paint can is. Oh, I love it so much. And I put a little tag there for our cancer awareness. And we thank the Lord for his healing and his grace and his hope, because hope is alive. Look how pretty this has turned out. So now we have all this space, and Dolly's on duty. She's taking care, make sure I'm safe from all the little lizards that live down around here. They like to come up on the deck, and she chases them. She just loves it. So there's the beginnings of my beautiful little, I used to call it the mercantile, but I'm down one shelf because we had to get it under the new awning, but I love it. I love the new awning. She even has this is still kind of a little bit of a mess back here. Oh, there's my spray paint table. And, but that's where she likes to lizard patrol, so she loves it. And I love the new awning. Great job, honey. Okay, now while I had the Dollar General foam clay out, I went ahead and molded more with that mold, but I'm also going to use this one. I pulled this one out. This is another redesigned by Prima product. So we've done a stamp. Now we're going to do a mold. This one, I think, what was it called? Chains and Gems, I believe. But I'm going to use this chain mold, and I'm going to mold it several times because that's going to be our field of blue. We're going to kind of do a cake for America's birthday. Kind of make a little frosted cake here, and we're going to use this like the fondant. But of course, it's not edible. It's just faux. And so here's another scrap piece of wood that I rescued. You know, I'm not even going to worry about what's already on it. I'm not even going to sand that off because it's not even going to show. And I'm using all, you know, the colors plaster there, of course. That's my white of choice. And once I get that in there and I get all my molds made out, there we go. Kind of get a plan. Now, if I were to do this again, and I would, you know, this is make another design on the top of a piece of wood, I would cut my molds too big. Because as I painted them and they dried more, they shrunk. Which is fine. They didn't crack. I mean, you know, it's just the nature of the clay. But I had to do a little bit more piecing than I would have liked to. I mean, you know, it's fine. But you'll see as I put it on there. Okay, so the slate blue and the scarlet are the two colors I'm using in this Acryology. And honestly, the pigment in these acrylic paints from the Dollar Tree is impressive. It really is. Because you would expect this red to go on, you know, in a thin coat as a pink, you know, and it come across as a kind of a dark pink. But no, it's red. And I ended up putting 2 coats of this red and this blue on these white. And of course I left the rope one white. So the bunting there is the red, and then that's the one that from the Redesign with Prima chain. And that's going to be our field of blue. All right, so this was a pretty rough piece of wood, and I'm going to just, you know, smooth it out a little bit so it's not bumpy on the ends. You will see the ends. So I wanted to make sure that looked nice. Just using my sanding block, and then there goes the tight bond. And then I just start putting this together like I'm decorating a cake. And then after I get it all put together, yep, I'm going to have to put them together there. And I will do some more piecing. I wanted to make sure I had a red on top and a red on the bottom. Of course, I'm not going to get 13 stripes in there, but I did want a red on top and a red on the bottom. And then there won't be any stars per se. You'll just see as I white wax the blue field and the white wax gets down into those chain details, it resembles stars, I think. I'm okay with it. I think it's very suggestive of stars. And so I'm going to end up, just piecing it together on the ends, you'll see. But it works out. It works out just fine. I'm just going to loosely, as it dries, I don't want anything to bow or buckle. So I'm just loosely putting that down. And, oh, it's all dry. And look how beautiful. Oh, my goodness, I just love it. So as nice as it is right now, after we do the magic and put the magic on, then and buff it off, it's going to be a little ice cake. And it's so pretty. I just love how it turned out. Now, this Annie Sloan white wax and the DIY white wax is a true creamy white wax. I've used the DIY as well. I just have this Annie Sloan right now. Now, you can go to Walmart and their white wax is not white. It's an ivory. And I love it too, very much. But I didn't want to use it on this because obviously it's red, white, and blue, not red, cream, and blue. So I wanted the white wax because I just think it makes everything look gorgeous. And so see, as I rubbed it off, there we go. As I rubbed it off the blue chain molds, it just kind of resembles stars. And doesn't that look like a fun little ice cake for our beautiful country? So thankful for our beautiful country. God bless America. And there we go. Just taking a look at some of our other DIYs here. I just love how those turned out. And the white wax certainly did the trick. Poke some of those down. That's just an old light cover that I've turned upside down and filled full of flowers. I got that at the Restore as well for $2. She gave it to me for $2. Yeah, I got to show off some of my salt and peppers. So fun. I want to leave you with a scripture as I've taken a look at my little LED flag there in the window. 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven. I will forgive their sin and I will heal their land. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's almost the 4th of July, so you're probably all decorated. And I really appreciate you watching the video. And I love it for you to subscribe to my channel, you know, hit that like button and all the things, and leave me a comment. And or just leave me a red, white, and blue heart, you know, those 3 hearts. That would be awesome. And that would certainly help my channel. And I sure do wish you well, and God bless you. I'll see you next time.